Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm slapstick welcome to your host, Mr. Graeme Garden.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, we're in for a treat this afternoon. A fragrant bouquet of comedy classic moments chosen by our special guest, and I'm sure you want to see him as soon as possible. He's a doctor, a comedian, a writer, movie star. He's voiceover maestro and a font thief. He works under an assumed name. And I think you're probably ready to see him now. So a big welcome, please, to Harry Hill.
Hey! Grow up.
You scamp.
Grow up. Hello. What is that stuff? Grow up.
There we are.
Yes, Doctor, what is it you want to know?
Now, you brought along your comic treats for us this afternoon. Did you have any plan in choosing them, or just the first things that came to mind?
Yeah, none whatsoever. But it was just, well, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I thought, as it's a slapstick festival, that we should try and, make them a bit more kind of physical and slapsticky.
Yeah. So our first one, let's get
What do you mean,
straight
our
on.
first one?
Which we're all sharing
My
together.
first one.
Your first choice is Max Wall.
Yes.
Why particularly?
Max Wall, well, I suppose I always love those kind of speciality acts.
Yeah.
You know, someone who spent a lot of time honing something that only lasted a very short amount of time. I never achieved that, really. I couldn't be bothered to put the time in. And Max Wall is that. He is that kind of rare thing of that eccentric dancing. And all I know about Max Wall is that eccentric dance thing that he does, which is the clip we've got.
Okay.
And it's something you just don't see anymore, and no one does it. And I suppose it goes back to a kind of musical
Yeah,
thing.
there was a big tradition of it
Yeah.
at one time, but
And I tried it. You know, I did have a bit in my last tour where I did a sort of eccentric dance to a Beyonce track, which was I'd go, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. And the punchline was just one of Beyonce's tips on keeping pigeons.
yeah. So let's have a look at Max Wall, then, shall we? Here's the clip.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your very kind attention. I would like to say that this is, of course,
You're right, you don't see a lot of that these days, do you?
No.
And that was 1974. He'd have been quite an age, because I think he started his career in about 1925.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you'd know. But I like that, you know, also the look he's got. He's developed that kind of look.
Yeah.
You know, it's, he called it the Professor Wolofsky or whatever. Was that?
Wolofsky, yeah, that's right. I always found him a little bit scary, did you?
Did you ever meet him? I never met him.
No, I never met him.
No.
I mean, just his
Yeah.
act.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
It's a little bit out there, yeah. I don't know what else he did. I mean, presumably he had more than just a minute and a half.
He acted, well, yes. He used to play the piano and do a sort of comedy like that, yeah. Do a comedy piano act. And then later on, of course, he became an actor. And Samuel Beckett used him in his plays a lot.
Yeah.
So there's hope for you yet.
Yes.
Does his look at all, did that affect your look?
Well, I had no control over the hair. I mean, I just noticed it was taking longer and longer to wash my face. Yeah. And, well, I always liked that about some of those old musical acts, that they did have a particular look. You know, like Max Miller, he had that kind of bright suit and the hat, and, you know, Tommy Trinder with the trilby. So it was a kind of conscious thing that I thought you should put an outfit on if you're going to go on stage, yeah. Because obviously when I started, it was the age of kind of jeans and...
Yeah, no, I mean, you were about the only one who put on a uniform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look what happened. Yeah.
It's, but in a way it's quite nice, because it does mean you can just put it on, do the act, take it off, and then that's it.
Yeah. The next clip that you selected is, again, it's a double act. It's Morecambe and Wise, and you've chosen
It's another double act.
One of their classic visual bits of comedy business.
Yeah.
Should we look at it and then talk about it afterwards?
Yes, should we do that?
We'll do that. Here's the clip. It's Morecambe and Wise. I'd forgotten how much stuff there was before they got into the stripper in that sketch.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Great.
Yeah. And it's, you know, the beauty of that, it's just completely timeless.
Yeah.
You know, apart from the Max Bygraves reference. And that's the thing with that visual comedy, isn't it? It never really, never really dates. Same with Max Wall, you know, it's either funny or it's not, really.
Yeah, and like Max Wall, they had great grace, didn't they? They were dancers. And to do that well, you've really got to have the...
Because I think people went into showbiz via a different route then, or into comedy via sort of the musicals and the showbiz sort of side of, and they all had those skills of being able to dance and tap dance and
do the soft shoe.
Yeah, but they didn't teach that at medical school.
They didn't. Which one did you go to?
But you know, we're very familiar with those their stuff too, because it's, you know, constantly played. And so I don't know about anyone else, but there's a kind of warmth about it that you feel like it's an old friend. I mean, you feel that towards them, and also you feel that towards the routine. It's a kind of familiarity, nostalgia thing mixed up with it too.
Yeah, but always enjoyable.
Yeah.
The next clip that you have chosen here is one from the Goodies. Any particular reason apart from hoping to get a good mark this afternoon?
What are you talking about? You insisted on it, Graeme. Why do you pretend like this? Well, you know, I grew up, I'm 49, and I think probably if you're my age, when I was about 11, was it? When was it? I don't even know when it was on. But
in the 70s. Yeah.
In the 70s, it was the thing to watch if you were a little boy. And I used to go around with 3 friends, and we would pretend to be the Goodies And it was great. It was great, and it was unusual because there was Monty Python at the same time, but that was kind of on at 9 o'clock, and it was a bit of a sort of adult thing. But you had the Goodies, which was it was sort of grown-up humour, but it appealed to kids too, and yeah, it was a big influence on me, dare I say it.
So when you were playing the Goodies, which one were you?
I was always the good-looking one, Tim.
Okay. Right. Shall we watch the clip? It's,
If you like.
I would like. Let's see what you've chosen. It's a clip from the Goodies. Let's see it now.
BBC, London.
So that was 11-year-old Harry was watching that.
Yeah. I've always wanted to know, where did you get such a big cat?
That's a closely guarded secret.
Who wrote that particular... I mean, how did it work with the three of you?
Bill and I used to... we'd first of all get together, the three of us, and work out the sort of general bare bones of a story, what it was going to be about. And then, essentially, Bill and I used to write half each. And I can't remember who wrote that half.
What? Just what the first...
And then meet in the middle.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
But
we would share, thoughts about, giant cats and
Yeah.
what it would do. But one of us would have to write
We'd
it
have
down.
to go away and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it must have been pretty cool being in the Goodies in the 70s, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was really cool. Yeah.
But it's, because you were on top of the Pops and
I know, it was ridiculous.
Funky Gibbon.
It was
Did you ever do gigs as the Goodies? Did you ever go out and...
No, not as such, really. No, we didn't do, a stage show?
Yeah.
No.
What's the trick
Anyway,
there?
my next choice. Hang on a minute. So you were in the Goodies when you were 11.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started your proper comedy career?
Well, I was in a cub panto when I was 9.
Oh, wow.
As Widow Twankey. But my parents were very much into amateur dramatics, unfortunately, both at home and then I didn't really do anything at school. I went to medical school and I got into all those medical school reviews, the terrible sort of, there's this big tradition of it, oddly, I don't know why, but so I used to write loads of stuff for that and generally try and take it over.
Yeah.
And that was in London, so I went to a lot of cabaret, alternative cabarets it was called then.
Yeah.
I went to see sort of comics like, Joe Brand and Jack D.
And the medical reviews, the shows you put on in medical school, wouldn't really suit a general audience, would they?
No, no. I mean, they were very dark.
Yeah. And quite rude, I would imagine.
And quite rude.
Yeah.
Well, so I tended to write kind of more sort of silly stuff. So I remember one routine was about, it was sort of a doctor's waiting room, and there was a bloke dressed as a pancreas and a kidney in the waiting room, and I can't remember what happened, but it was basically, I sort of tried to hijack it for my sort of I sort of did a bit of stand-up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then went on to get your own radio series first?
Well, then, so I did. What happened was I gave up my job as a doctor. I went to see my consultant, and he said, all right, he said, have you decided what you want to do? And I said, well, I'm not sure. And he said, well, is it cardiology or respiratory? And I said, I think I want to be a comedian. And he said, oh, right, you're really not sure. And then he never asked me again. and I basically didn't take another job, gave it up. I wrote this play about being a doctor, about being a junior doctor. It was called Dog Murder 1. right? And it was based on a true story. And I had this patient who, she had a heart attack at the top of the, there was a stroke. She was standing at the top of the stairs and she had a stroke. And she fell down the stairs and she landed on and killed her dog. Yes. And there was this whole drama that when she came round from the stroke, do we tell her about the dog? Because we were worried that it might set her back. So I wrote this play and I called it Dog Murder. We used to joke about it being Dog Murder 1 in the hospital. But the play was described by the Scotsman as, it was a very short review, and it said, this show is a dud. And so then I thought, you know, I didn't have a job, so I thought I'd better get some gigs as a comedian.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what I did.
That's how it all began. Well, I mean, you list among your influences somebody we're about to see. Another influence you cite, according to Wikipedia, the font of all accurate knowledge.
Well, you should know that my wife alters my Wikipedia entry in a detrimental way to me. If you look me up on Wikipedia, it says that I maintain a small, damp flat in Battersea, and that is her. That is her.
This is your gorgeous flame-haired wife, according to Wikipedia, is it?
Well, I say wife, we haven't actually had the papers back from the Philippines.
Well, anyway, she or somebody in Wikipedia claims one of your great influences was Bert Kwouk.
Yes.
How come?
Bert Kwouk?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I met him at a BBC party. My first job, proper paid job, was writing for Weekending, the Radio 4 show, which had some brilliant writers in here. Stuart Lee was writing for it then, you know, Andy Parsons and loads of other people, Armando Iannucci. But the show was always terrible.
I know.
For some reason. You know, we were all learning on it. And but we used to get invited to the light entertainment Christmas party at the Paris studios. And Bert Kwouk was there, and obviously I was a big Peter Sellers fan, big Clouseau fan. And so yeah, every year I would get drunk and say, not now, Cato, and, you know, just really kind of embarrassed. But then when I got this radio series, the producer said, why don't you ask Bert Kwouk to be in it as himself? And so I said to him, so they contacted him and he said fine. But he's a very, do you know Bert Kwouk?
I don't know him personally, no.
He's very, you know, it's a cliche. He's obviously Chinese. He is very inscrutable. And a true story is that my mum bought a house, okay, and the previous owners were Chinese. And the name of the house was something like Ling Fang or something, right? And she phones me up, she says, oh, you know, it was owned by Chinese people, it's called Ling Fang. She said, you know Bert Kwouk, why don't you ask him what that means, right? And I thought, well, you know, there's lots of Chinese people around. You know, but anyway, so I phoned him up, and I said, you know, my mum's bought this house, Chinese people, and it's called Ling Fang. She asked me to ask you if you knew what that meant, and he goes, okay, let me get this straight. He goes, your mum bought a house from Chinese people. It's called Ling Fang. She wants to know what it means. Why the hell doesn't she ask them what it means?
All right. So I can see how he influenced you. Another influence we're going to have a look at now is influenced a lot of people, I think, was Spike Milligan.
Yeah.
And we have a clip of Spike. Let's have a look at it now.
got a nice cup of tea for you. I think. How's Mr. Banerjee?
He's not very well.
Why?
I exterminated him.
Well, you shouldn't have done that.
Put him in the curry.
Johnny, have you finished your homework?
Yes, I have destroyed it.
Somebody's exterminated Granny.
Yes, put her in the curry as well.
Hello, Dana.
Put him in the curry too.
Now you know what's wrong with the country.
Put it all in the curry.
Now you know what's wrong with the curry.
I mean, anarchy is quite a dangerous thing to put in comedy, because if it's not done as well as that, it can look...
Yeah, I often wonder if that's Spike inside that Dalek. I mean, is it him or just doing the voice?
I would imagine it's him. It's the sort of thing he would
seems to
probably...
sort of move like
like
Spike
he
Milligan.
would.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's the only true genius, comedy genius.
Yeah.
Personally, you know, it's kind of that word's used a lot, but I think he kind of did it all, invented it all, and I don't know what his influences were, but you know, from the Goons kind of revolutionized radio in that, you know, that kind of. And what I really like about the Goons is that it was surreal and crazy and anarchic, but really, really popular. You know, it was, and people always say, oh well, you know, it's surreal and it's kind of cult, but the Goons were the most popular radio show at the time, and I think it is. I mean, there's something very kind of British about it, I guess, isn't there?
Yeah, but he did change the landscape, because before that, comedy was sort of domestic topics, wasn't it? Max Wall and Max Miller, rather, people like that, told jokes about home life, about work and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The Goons just took on a whole different landscape entirely.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the Goons now, it's just completely mad. You think there's no way this would ever get commissioned.
No, it smelled, yes.
And then with I came to it really to him through the TV, because I was a bit too young for the Goons, and that Q series, which was what I kind of liked about it was that some things in it were just hilarious, that you would really, really laugh, and other things were just sort of terrible.
Yeah.
Just sort of, but what I loved was the kind of risk, and he didn't seem to care at all, you know, and he kind of deconstructed the whole thing of a sketch show needing punchlines. You know, they would just stop the sketch and walk off. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Yeah, which I thought was just
sometimes
fantastic.
very funny and sometimes embarrassing.
Yeah, and really bad.
Yeah.
But sort of good for being bad, if you...
Yeah. So how did you get commissioned?
My show? What?
Yes, yes, your first telly.
Oh, the telly. Well, for years I couldn't get arrested on TV. You know, I'd done this radio show, and they would say, "Oh, you can't do that radio show on TV. It doesn't work on TV." And so I would say, "Well, yeah, obviously it's a radio show. You know, there's no pictures. It's just." Anyway, so we went kind of round and round in circles for a while. And so I kind of thought, I'll stop trying to get on TV. Right? I'd done a few slots on sort of TV shows. And so my then agent booked me on a tour, stand-up comedy tour. And during the tour, this thing came up about they were bringing back Saturday Live, you know, the Ben Elton thing. They brought it back briefly on ITV. And I said, no, I don't want to do it. It won't be very good. You know, it'll be sort of not what it was. And then one night I was at the Doncaster Dome. I don't know if you've played the Doncaster Dome.
No, I missed that one.
Well, it seats about 800
Yeah.
people, and I had I got there, and I said, how many in? And she said, it's about 100, right? And I said, what do you mean about 100? She said, there's 65, and there's the staff. Right, so I went on, and the 65 payers really enjoyed it, but gradually over the first 20 minutes, the other 35 left. And it's that thing of you, it was like this big metal stairs. You could hear them going bomb, bomb, bomb. Then the double doors. Next day, my agent phones me and says, look, what are you going to do about this Saturday Live thing? Are you going to do it or not? I said, yes. So I did that.
Yeah.
And that was, it seemed to be quite popular. And then after that, they were all biting my hand off a bit. You know, it was sort of, what do you want to do? So I basically sort of adapted the radio show for TV.
Yeah, but I mean, what you brought to television immediately, you brought a visual element, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you had your little routines and kicking the back of the net.
Yeah, well, radio wasn't really good for me because I do have such a kind of visual sense. You know, I like all that, all those sight gags and physical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, mind you, they have very good pictures on radio, they say, don't they? The next clip is another double act, and I'm sure they were also influenced by Spike.
Yeah.
Reeves and Mortimer, Vic and Bob.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at their clip now, and we'll talk a little bit about them afterwards. Vic and Bob. I mean, I should say that I don't know that's from their new sitcom, and I don't know the context. Basically, when I knew I was doing this, I thought I want to put a bit of Vic and Bob in. So I texted Vic and said, have you got a bit which is sort of physical and slapsticky for the Slapstick Festival? So I guess the setup is that they're trying to be quiet, isn't it? Yes, and only they could so spectacularly not be quiet. I mean,
Yeah.
but they, again, it's got the Spike Milligan anarchy, and sometimes they don't quite hit it, do they? And sometimes they just fly.
Absolutely. I mean, some of their stuff's almost like performance art, isn't it? It's, I mean, they were kind of really important, I think, because, you know, when I was kind of starting off, like I say, it was all that alternative comedy kind of stuff, which, I mean, I liked a lot of that, but it was quite, some of it was quite earnest, and it was a bit, you know, you had to be a Thatcher basher, and you know, and you had to have a view on the Iraq War and all this. I mean, you know, so I was, when I started off, it was quite awkward. I mean, I did have a joke about the Gulf War, but my joke was about the, you know, Saddam Hussein and Adolf Hitler having moustaches, and it wasn't so much about the roots of the Gulf War, more about the facial hair of evil men, and I think they came in around that time. It was about 1990, I think, or around that time, and everything was silly again. You could be kind of crazy and silly, and so it helped everyone who were keeping that quiet.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing you on the bill with other comics on TV, and suddenly here's this guy coming on being silly. Quite different, as you say, to the rather earnest alternative route.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Vic and Bob, their first series, you look at that and you think, what is happening here?
Yeah, yeah,
Suddenly,
it was brilliant.
yeah.
You know, and in fact, someone said to me, "Oh, you should go and see these two," because they used to do a regular night down in New Cross at the some theatre there, and
New Cross Theatre, probably.
And I got there, and there was a huge queue of people, you know, queuing obviously to get to see this show. I mean, I'd never heard of them really. It was just like a kind of buzz about them, and I watched it, and I thought, oh, yeah, you know, I kind of felt like they got there first in a way. Do you know what I mean? That the wheel had turned and it had been, you know, they got kind of the Spike Milligan thing and brought it back. Yeah, I think they're great, and I think they're really mainstream as well. I wish that show was on BBC One.
Yeah. I mean, they're much, obviously they're much better known now, and they're not such a clique audience.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, perhaps they'll end up on BBC One doing the news or something.
Well, what they share with Spike Milligan is like I used to like about Spike. It was the kind of aesthetic of it, the visual look. So he would, if he was going to be Kenneth Kendall or somebody, he wouldn't spend hours in makeup looking like Kenneth. He'd have a wig with a strap around, and they do the same thing. That's a lot of it, it's the detail of it. Yeah, yeah,
it's great. Now your next clip, it's a comedian called Tim Vine. So why have you chosen him? What?
He phoned me up and begged me to. I don't know if you know him at all.
I've met him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's can be quite aggressive.
Yeah.
And he's tall, so he's got that physical thing. You know, he's a notorious bully, and.
I've never found him tricky myself, but
he owes me about £2,000. Oh, right. It's just a fiver here, a fiver there, and no, I'm a huge fan of Tim's because it is that you know I kind of, for me, he is like the modern day. He'll hate me for saying Tommy Cooper, but that kind of great kind of British silliness, the kind of wordplay, and there's no kind of darkness to it at all. It's just fun, just good old-fashioned fun.
Yeah, I mean, just a stream of one-liners.
Well,
he does. They're all funny, whether they work or not.
Yes, but he also does like some really funny songs, and one of the clip we've got is him doing the notorious "Pen Behind the Ear" song.
Right. Well, that strikes a chord with the audience. Let's have a look at the "Pen Behind the Ear" song from Tim Vine.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to attempt something now that's quite tricky and quite difficult, and it's called very simply "Pen Behind the Ear." It's not easy. Hit the music, please. A bit louder. Pen behind the ear, pen behind the ear, pen behind the ear.
Oh. It's a shame it...
Do we know what happened there?
Is there a problem with the...
It's a shame to. I wonder if they can start it again. It's a shame to lose that, because it would be the highlight of your show. That wouldn't it?
It'd be a shame. Maybe there's someone who knows it who could do it for us, or. I told you to stay in the car.
I brought the music. Hit the music, please.
Yeah, I could watch that all night.
I said to him, what's the longest it's ever gone on for? He said 6 minutes.
We were spared. Listen, that was Tim's song. You've got a musical that you've written in the pipeline. Well, I don't think you haven't written it in the pipeline, but...
And it's not in the pipeline.
It's in rehearsal.
It's in rehearsal, yeah, it's actually happening.
With Simon Cowell, you
developed
it.
He's putting half the money up for it. And it's a tricky conversation. So I come up with the idea to write a musical about the X Factor. So I wangle my way into his office, and so I want him to put up half the money. It's a musical about the X Factor. What's it called? I can't sing. Yeah, it opens at the Palladium, which is
wow.
Very excited. End of March.
Right.
And we've got Nigel Herman playing Simon. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. He goes, Nigel Herman. So we book him to be to play Simon. He says, I'm going to be in Downton Abbey. We thought, oh great, we'll get lots of press from that. Yeah. And well, the party plays in the. Did you watch Downton Abbey?
No, I haven't seen him in it.
Oh, he plays a rapist. Thanks, Nige. But yeah, I think it'll be really good fun. It's kind of loose. It's about the X Factor, but it's basically a big kind of variety-style show, a big sort of extravaganza with lots of really great songs that I haven't written the songs.
Which people can sing, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all right then.
Yeah. But,
well, we can all look forward to that. And the next clip, we change gear dramatically. This is a movie called Harold and Maude.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us something about the film?
Well, this is a bit darker, I suppose. I mean, I didn't see this when it came out. I think it came out in the
70s,
mid-70s.
Yeah.
I must have seen it on TV. I kept watching bits of it and thinking this is really interesting. And then I got it out. I finally got it on DVD and watched the whole thing. It's the sort of film that they play in the, late at night on. And it's the story of a young man who is basically a kind of rather troubled bloke. He drives around in an E-type hearse. It's a converted E-type Jag, and he hangs around funerals, and he's a bit of a depressive, and he meets this woman, Maude, who is in her 80s, and they have they hit it off basically, and have a romantic relationship. But there's a lot of really, some really funny, dark bits in it. It's not out and out of comedy, but...
it's a very dark and a very sweet film, too.
Yeah, really sweet, and it's got great music. Cat Stevens did
Yeah.
all the music for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Ruth Gordon is the old lady,
Yeah.
who's fantastic. And the strange Bud Cort
Bud Cort,
plays the young man.
And I was thinking, what did Bud Cort ever do after that? And he was in a few things, but the thing he was in, I'm a big Wes Anderson fan, I don't know if you saw The Life Aquatic.
Yeah, who's in that?
He plays the Bond guy.
Oh, right.
Creepy
yes.
Bond guy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's still around. That's
Still
good. Let's have a look at Bud Court then in Harold and Maude.
Your mother tells me, Harold, that she's arranging several dates for you with some young ladies. How do you feel about that?
Hello, I'm Candy Go.
How do you do? I'm Mrs. Chasen. Do come in.
Harold is out in the garden, Candy, but he'll be here in a moment. Shall we, sit down? Oh, there's Harold. Hello. Oh, he seems very nice.
Oh, thank you.
You are at the university.
Yes, I am. And what are you studying?
Poli-sci with a minor in home ec.
Poli-sci.
Political science.
Oh.
It's all about what's going on. Is Harold interested in what's going on? I just think it's such a super thing to study. And then, of course, I can always fall back on my home ec.
Oh, now that's good planning.
Yes.
Tell me, Candy, are you a regular with this computer club?
Oh, heavens, no. I don't have to worry about dates.
Oh.
Well, you see, some of the other girls in my sorority decided that somebody ought to try it, so we drew straws and I lost. Oh, but I'm looking forward to meeting Harold.
Well, I think I should mention, Candy, Harold does have his little eccentric moments.
That's all right. I have a brother who's a real cut-up, too. Oh, I will never forget the time we had this old television set with no parts in it. Tommy stuck his head behind it and started giving a whole newscast before the entire family.
Must have been very funny.
Harold!
Oh, yes, dear. Here is Harold now. Harold, this is Candy. Candy's just been telling us such a funny little story about Walter Cronkite.
I used to walk alone, every step seemed the same. This world was not my home, so there was
Yeah.
Spooky look at the camera there at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. He does that a lot. He fakes his own suicide a number of times.
Yes, yeah. But then has this lovely, a very sweet relationship with the old lady, Ruth Gordon, and buys her gifts. And,
Yeah, and it's actually very moving at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's worth a look.
It's a good movie. Catch it if you can. Moving on to the next one, without which I suppose no compilation of comedy classics would be complete, Monty Python.
Yeah.
So now, when you were 11, it was too grown up for you, you said?
Well, I wasn't allowed to watch it. It was on at 9 o'clock, wasn't it, on BBC Two?
So were the Goodies.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Was it?
Your parents moved the clock, I think.
It must have been, wasn't it on early evening? Wasn't it repeated?
Well, sometimes it was on earlier.
Yeah, I think that's the ones I saw, because my dad was very strict and he would always insist on watching the 9 o'clock news.
Mm.
You know, in those days there was only one TV in the house.
Yeah.
And basically he decided what was on. And so there'd be kind of various delaying tactics to try and distract him. And so we'd get 10 minutes of Monty Python, or later on was not the 9 o'clock news. That used to be the best slot for comedy on BBC Two, didn't it?
Yeah.
9 o'clock slot. And I loved it, and it was kind of Spike Milligan fixed. It sort of had all the kind of problems that Spike had fixed by probably virtue of a number of different brains working on it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of less rough and ready, less hit and miss. Although it was still hit and miss and risky. So they were, and I was one of those kind of geeky kids that used to walk around the playground reciting all the sketches.
You're going to see them at the O2 Arena.
No. No, I haven't got a ticket. I'm hoping someone will phone me up and say, do you want to come? But
get a good ticket. I'm like you, I'm waiting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're mates of yours, aren't they?
Yeah.
It'd be great if in the middle of the gig you three cycled past on your tandem.
I'll suggest that.
But it'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, we were talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did speak to them about it, and
right.
I think John was quite keen to do some new stuff, which is risky in that situation, because the fans really would like to see the old stuff brought to life again. And then he was talking about doing the old stuff, but in a new way, which I think is equally risky, because the fans want to see the old stuff brought to life in the traditional way. Yeah. So apart from enormous production value and singing and dancing, which is going to be going on, I don't know quite what shape the show's going to be in, but it'll be fascinating to find out, and will be a hit whatever they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very big room, the O2, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know, have you ever seen comedy there?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No. Has anybody?
But I mean, it's a tricky one, and it's not always just about putting more people on the stage.
No.
I've seen a few things that work there, and one of the things that worked really well was I saw Jerry Seinfeld there, and it was just him standing there doing...
But on big screens.
Just doing really good lines, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very exciting, isn't it? And I dare say it'll come out on a DVD.
We'll wait for that, shall we? Okay, we'll have a look at the Pythons then. But this is not the television show. I think this is...
I mean, you could choose anything of theirs, really. But if you want to look at a way of doing... I mean, they had a TV show and they made a film. And that's tricky to pull off, believe me. And what they did with Life of Brian, is a clip from Life of Brian, is, they got this great story which holds it together, but really it's an excuse for sketches, isn't it? It's kind of a sketch format, and this is a great sketch from...
And great costumes.
Yeah.
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 Okay, Life of Brian, let's have a look at this.
Matthias, son of Deuteronomy of Gath?
Do I say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
You have been found guilty by the elders of the town of uttering the name of our Lord, and so as a blasphemer, you are to be stoned to death.
Look, I'd had a lovely supper, and all I said to my wife was that piece of halibut was good enough for Jehovah.
Blasphemy! He said it again! Did you hear him? Are there any women here today? Very well. By virtue of the authority vested in me...
Oh, lay off, we haven't started yet.
Come on. Who threw that? Who threw that stone? Come on. Sorry, I thought we started. Go to the back. Oh, dear. Always one, isn't there? Now, where were we?
Look, I don't think it ought to be blasphemy. Just saying Jehovah.
You're only making it worse for yourself.
Making it worse? How could it be worse? Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah.
I'm warning you, if you say Jehovah once more. Right, who threw that? Come on, who threw that? Was it you? Yes. Right. Well, you did say Jehovah. Will you... Come back. Now, look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah.
Classic stuff. We need to move on fairly rapidly because we're running out of time, but there's a couple of clips still to go. And the next one, perhaps somebody not so familiar to the UK audience as the other clips so far, Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens was the actor.
Yeah.
And
well, Pee Wee, it's Tim Burton's, I think it's his first film, and it's this Pee Wee Herman character, and I didn't really follow him much. And when I came down to writing my movie, I made a list of, I thought I just needed a silly story and an excuse to do some big funny set pieces. And so I wrote these out, and I said to my wife, this is the idea, what do you think? And she said, it sounds like Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. So I watched it on DVD at that point, so this is only about a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really funny, kind of physical film.
So the character Pee Wee Herman is a kind of man-child.
Yeah, I'm not mad about Pee Wee Herman. For me, it's a little bit too camp and creepy. But in this movie, it's just really well handled.
Okay, well, let's have a look at Pee Wee Herman in Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Andy! Andy!
Yeah, it's strange.
I like the way the baddie just falls over.
Yes, perhaps it should always be that way. We're going to stay on that side of the Atlantic for your next clip, which is Woody Allen. Not the most physical and visual of comedians.
No.
But obviously...
Allow me one. Yeah, I mean, I like, obviously I like Woody Allen, and his early films are very kind of physical and silly, and then his later ones are a bit more kind of story-based. And in the middle, for me, is Broadway Danny Rose, which is, for me, the kind of perfect balance between kind of characters that you can believe in and the story that's really interesting, and some really funny stuff too, some really funny lines. And it's kind of set around New York, and it opens with these old comics all talking about this legendary agent, Danny Rose. And it's a thing that comics, I identify with that, in gigs, in dressing rooms, we'd all sit around and swap stories.
Yeah. Anyway. And Woody Allen is Danny Rose.
Yeah.
And doesn't always end up with the best of acts on his books, does he?
All the good ones leave him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, Broadway Danny Rose. This is Woody Allen at his finest. Here it is.
You know the first time I saw you do Mason? It was backstage at the Sullivan Show. You were brilliant. And I was there with Danny Rose. Remember Danny Rose? Yeah, he was handling an act at a manager. He was handling an act on a one-legged tap dancer. It was his normal handling, Danny Rose. Yeah, always the best.
May I say one word? Might I just interject one concept at this juncture. You're looking for somebody for Memorial Day weekend. My blind xylophone player, okay? The man would be perfect for your room.
Ah, forget it.
But, Philly, would you hear me out? Will you please hear me out? The man is a beautiful man. He's a fantastic individual.
My hotel gets all Jewish people. They're blind. They ain't gonna pay to see a blind guy.
All right. So forget that then. How about Herbie Jason's birds? Herbie Jason's birds. They're little birds. They peck tunes out on a piano. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, all right. What about my one-legged tap dancer?
Okay.
Take him for a weekend. My one-legged. All right. My one-armed juggler.
Not for my hotel.
All right. What about Lou Canova? Lou Canova, my Italian singer. It'd be great.
Lou Canova's a dumb, fat, temperamental has-been with a drinking problem.
Jesus, what about Eddie Clark's penguin? That's a perfect Eddie Clark and his penguin. The penguin skates on the stage dressed as a rabbi. It's hilarious. The penguin's got a beard like a...
I'll tell you what, Denny. Give me Sonny Chase. He's the best act you got. He's fast. He's funny.
I don't handle Sonny anymore.
Since when?
Oh, it's a long story, Philly. Really, I discovered the kid. He slept on my sofa. I supported him. I don't want to badmouth the kid, but he's a horrible, dishonest, immoral louse. And I say that with all due respect.
I know, Denny. They get a little success and then they leave you.
That's my point. Believe me, Philly, if I had all the acts in this business that I started that made it, I'd be a rich man today.
I'd like to help you, Denny. But Weinstein's majestic bungalow colony is a classy place, and I need a classy act.
Well, that's why I want to show you this lady. She is the Yasha Heifetz of this instrument. She is really something. You got to see this, Philly. It's absolutely incredible. Just... Never took a lesson. Self-taught. Next year, Philly, my hand to God, she's going to be at Carnegie Hall. But I let you have her now at the old price, okay? Which is anything you want to give me. Anything at all, Philly.
I remember that woman that played the glass.
You have never seen acts like this in your life. I mean, this guy would work his tail off for these acts. I mean, if he believed in an act, he would go all out.
Danny, my partner wants me to open up with the Dachshund, but I think I should open up with the swan or the giraffe. The swan is pretty and it fascinates the people. Or have an animal of this type.
I think your partner's right. You should open up with the dachshund and then you should move on and build to the giraffe. I think you should close with the giraffe because it's got more impact.
Really?
If you take my advice, I think you're going to become one of the great balloon folding acts of all time. Really, because I don't see you just folding these balloons in joints. You know, you listen to me. You're going to fold these balloons at universities and colleges. You're going to make your snail and your elephant on Broadway. You know what I mean? But the thing to remember is before you go out on stage, you got to look in the mirror. You got to say your 3 S's: star, smile, strong.
Star, smile, strong.
Star, smile, strong. Is that good advice, do you think?
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. We're coming to the end of your choices now, and it'd be nice to have time for a few questions at the end. So let's finish with your slapstick request, which is a piece of Laurel and Hardy. What attracts you to them, as if I need to know?
Well, yeah, there's nothing much to say, is there? I mean, they're the kind of original blueprint for a double act, I guess, aren't they? You know, and I mean, I suppose I used to watch them in the summer holidays. It was the only thing that was on. You know, they put them on in the morning and before Why Don't You and Champion the Wonder Horse. Or the Flashing Blade. But they're just great, aren't they? You know, and what I like about them is that the thing with slapstick, to do that physical stuff well, I mean, I tried it for a long time on TV Burb, right, and I couldn't get the hang of it, because your instincts are just to do it really quickly, and you know, you've got to put a pie in someone's face. You could just do it. But actually, what Laurel and Hardy do is they take their time over it, and a lot of their stuff, a lot of it is about expectation, isn't it? You see this coming a long way off, and you know it's going to happen, and then inevitably when it does happen, it just makes it funny, and it's very difficult to pull off, and they're the kings of it.
They are, and as you say, sometimes they know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're waiting along with them for it. This is
a silent bit,
Yeah. This is a bit of big business, and it's a silent movie, and we're very lucky to have here to play the piano, to accompany it, the maestro, Gunther Buchwald. There he is. Very good. Okay, Laurel and Hardy in Big Business. Gunther Buchwald, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Yes, talk about taking your time. The cop there certainly took his time responding to that.
And they never, Laurel and Hardy never attempt to stop James Finnis, and James never attempts to stop them.
And what also is
It's
nice...
the arms race, basically.
Yes. And what's nice is there's a crowd of people who run around with them and they had to fight their way through, the spectators. We've got a couple of minutes left, so are you all right for a short Q&A session?
Yes, by all means.
So
if Q&A stands for question and answer.
Yes. It does. What would you like to ask? Anyone in the audience got a question? Oh, thanks, the lights are up. Any hands up? Ask Harry anything about his choice of clips? Oh, where's that? Yes?
If you had another 15 minutes, would you have included the Marx Brothers?
Would you have included the Marx Brothers, is the question.
No. But I was never a real fan of the Marx Brothers. I know I feel like I should be, but I don't really get it, to be honest.
It seems interesting because of your sort of the love of the surreal and the wild and the manic.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that would have pointed straight at you.
Yeah, but I don't really, and I'm not looking for an argument, but I don't, what I don't get is that that kind of quick talk thing, this sort of cross talk thing, where they, hey, well, what do you know? It's for me. It just seems, and also the films. I mean, are you a fan of the Marx Brothers?
Some.
Yeah.
Some I find a bit troublesome, like you do.
Yeah.
But there are some great bits. Oh, the bit that you quoted just there was very good.
In some ways, it works better written down for me. Some of that, that kind of gag stuff. But the thing about comedy, it's completely subjective, isn't it? There's all sorts of stuff I can't stand.
So we draw the line at the Marx Brothers. Anything else you really can't stand in comedy that you want to mention? Preferably somebody who's not here.
No.
Any more questions? Yes, one there in the second row.
Can I just say, Harry, thanks for being a clean comic. Because you're a family comic.
Thanks. In case you didn't hear that, somebody in the front here is thanking Harry for taking the trouble to wash before.
Yeah.
For being a clean comic.
Well, yeah, I mean, people say to me about... I mean, when I first started, I used to have a few swear words in the act, but it never really... It was sort of trying to keep in with this sort of alternative thing, and, it never really felt right for me. And I'm a big fan of, people like Jack Dee and Stuart Lee and Joe Brown and people who are, rude. And I'm not a prude over it. It's just, it doesn't really work for me. So it's never something I've had to sort of struggle to contain, And it did strike me early on that if you were a kind of a bit rude when you got asked to do a slot on a TV show like Des O'Connor or something, I would bump into, who would it be? Jack Dee or someone backstage trying to work out what he was going to do, whereas I didn't really have to make that decision.
No.
Yeah.
And your comedy doesn't really sit well with obscenities and swear words, does it?
No.
It's a much sweeter thing than that.
Well... It might be worth trying it again.
Go on.
Dirty Harry. I once did the producer of You've Been Framed once put together an outtakes reel of me swearing and being rude about the about some of the people on the clips. It was actually really funny but unrepeatable. Yeah.
Is it going to be commercially released?
There's only one copy.
You only need one. Any more questions? Oh. What was the question? I missed that.
He said, is there going to be any more TV burp? Graeme?
Oh, TV burp.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes. We all want to know that.
Yes. Well, not really. I've had enough. I kind of had enough of it, and it got harder to do it. because we sort of made all the jokes about all the shows. You know, we were doing jokes about the same shows. You know, EastEnders. I know all the sets of EastEnders. I know there are no corners of that set that look like faces or or funny things. So, I mean, you still could make that show, but I kind of worried that if I kept doing it, I might make a really bad one. So I just about avoided that, I think. And I think this Gogglebox program, have you seen that on Channel 4? Which is really funny, and I think it sort of does the job in a slightly more relaxed way.
Yes.
So no plans to bring it back.
Not so much research.
It's on Gold, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's on UK Gold. Watch it.
There's one down here.
A request more than a question. My sister made me this, and I wondered if you and Graeme would be kind enough to take a selfie of yourselves.
Security. Have you got a camera?
Yes.
Yes. Your sister knitted it, did she?
She doesn't.
Yes. Okay. When did she get out? What? Do you want to come and take it?
Well, you can do a selfie of yourself. I can get up there.
Pardon? Oh, I don't want your life story.
Take a picture. She wants a picture with you.
She wants a selfie of the two of us, right?
Right.
The three of us. Sorry, the three of us. The right one here. No, great. He doesn't know what a selfie is. He's about 80.
Not one of those.
He was in the Goodies.
All right. How do you know what this looks like? This doesn't come out, does it?
Well, his hat's come off. No, it's just as well he won't feel the benefit when he goes out.
I'll tell you, I can only see what's in the frame if I do it this way. So I'll take your photograph.
Get the duck to take it.
Yeah. Give me the duck a bit closer. That's it. That's right. And now you mention my name as I take the photograph, and that'll be it.
You have to hold it down.
There's two of those. Now look, I don't know how you look at it.
I'll do it. There we go. I know you think it's all very well, but is this entertainment? Get a selfie. There we go. Yes, lovely to meet you.
We have time for one last question. There was somebody up the top there. Yeah?
So, yeah. Hello. Favourite part? The money. No, well, you know, I was a doctor, and so for me it's always just been about being like a big kid and playing and doing all the things you're not allowed to do when you're an adult, when you're grown up. So custard pies in the face, falling over, taking the mickey out of people. Yeah, it's really good fun, actually. I recommend it.
Well, long may it continue. We've had some great moments, comedy moments there to share with you. Thanks for bringing them along, and thanks to Harry Hill. Brilliant.
And Tim Vine.
And Tim Vine.
Thank you. What do we do now?
Hey.